I've been working on my game for 3 years now, and I've always described it as an open world game. This technically hasn't been true until now. I'm Empathy, and in this devlog, I'm going to be talking about the progress I've made towards making an open world game. So first of all, I'd like to clarify that my world is mainly split up into the plains, swamp, mountains, and forest areas. The plains area is the first area I'm working on, and it's split up sort of like this. The gray area here is what's called the Deadlands, an area taken over by the Dark Lord. There are many important things in the plains area, like the town, dungeon, farms, forests, and lakes. I've already made the inside of the dungeon, which you should watch the previous devlog about, and today I'll be talking about the progress I've made since then. Firstly, I made a model for the plains area. After I made the model, I imported it into Unity, my game engine of choice, and let's just say it wasn't very optimized at first, only getting around, like, 4 FPS. To fix this, I decided to do 2 things. The first was turning on mesh compression to medium for all of the objects of the plains area. The reason why I used medium instead of high is because I find that there's model errors or texture glitches, that sort of thing, when the model compression is set to high. The second thing I did was to create an LOD or level of detail system. This is a system that makes objects revert to a low poly version of them when you're far away. You can clearly see it in Mario 64. As you walk Mario away from the camera, he becomes a less detailed model, which helps with performance by drawing less triangles to the screen. I did that with the models of the plains area, and now it runs a whole lot better. Once I added this model to Unity, you can then run around this landscape, but there's not much to do yet. So I started to add the town to the world. In this southern area of the plains, there's a town, which is currently unnamed, and that town is what I've been working on for most of the past 4 months. Here we've got houses, the tavern, the general store, and the town hall. They've all got something unique to them, like NPCs to talk to, including people of the other species in my world, like the currently unnamed lizards, elves, and the also unnamed puffball-ish creatures. I also made these dialogue boxes so you can now talk to anyone and see what they have to say. Along with the dialogue boxes, I created this tool to make NPCs quickly. It comes from this tutorial series here. It's super helpful, by the way. If you're making a game and want to make some NPCs, it's a really helpful tutorial series. This tool is able to create nodes, connect them, and edit the name and contents of their dialogue. Then you can save to a file or load from a file. This will make it much easier to create NPCs and really speed up development. In this town hall here, we've got multiple soldiers who are working hard, or hardly working. There's also this table with a map and the mayor, working hard to deal with the Deadlands. He's also got something important to say to you. Hey, I mean, if the mayor said it, you probably should do that. Here, in this section of the Deadlands, there's the graveyard. You can see here that the grave spawn skeletons, who have 2 attacks, which are charging at you and throwing a bone as a projectile. This grave looks a little weird though. I wonder what that's about. I've also made these clouds, which can range from light to dark depending on the weather. These spawn using GPU instancing, which is using the GPU's code to render objects instead of the CPU's. This is a lot better for performance, and because of that, I can spawn clouds across the whole area. I've also tried to make another system with GPU instancing, this time to render grass, but I couldn't find a way to do it without causing a lot of lag. I've also updated some old content in Vitality, specifically the enemy's attacks. I separated enemies' attacks into 2 types. The first one is long-distance attacks that can be used when the player is far enough away from the enemy, like this green Bumleaf's grass attack. The other type of attacks is close-up attacks that are used when you're close to the enemy, like this same Bumbleef's kick attack. All of the enemies have been updated to have these kinds of attacks, including the mini-boss, the Bumbleef Mage, and the final boss, the Grand Bumbleef. I've also added new particles to Vitality, like bursts when you use spells, a flash of light when enemies take damage, and blue particles when the player takes damage. This is to create something that us game developers like to call juice. Juice is a quality that video games can have that makes them feel instantly better to play, and better looking visually. Juice can be seen in games like Hollow Knight, Celeste, and especially Balatro. Hopefully this means that these particles will make Vitality a lot more fun to play. The final thing I worked on was bug fixing the Plains dungeon, as a playtest with a friend revealed some bugs. Oh, that's a lot of bugs. Okay, I get it. That's enough. That's enough bugs. Anyways. The clipping out of the world, taking statues between rooms and where they shouldn't be, have all been fixed. The next things I'm going to be working on are, of course, working on the content in the Plains area some more. The thing I'll work on first is the game's intro cinematic, where you're quizzed by your mentor about your magic, and found in a cave after a mysterious tragedy. I'll talk more about the intro cinematic and the starting tutorial in my next video, although I'll have to be careful not to reveal too much about the game's story. I won't be releasing the Plains area in this update, as it's not fully complete yet. Once all the content in the Plains is done, however, I'll release it for you all to try, along with a new devlog, of course. However, other updates such as the new particles from enemies and spells will be applied to the version of the dungeon that's already out. That's all for this video, so if you'd like to play Vitality, there's a link to the game in the description below. If you want to leave any feedback, there's the comments here and on itch.io. And I hope to see you for the next devlog. Until then, I'll be working on the Plains area.